It is Sunday evening, and you have technically spent the last 8 hours resting. You sat on the couch, watched 3 movies, and barely walked more than 50 steps to the refrigerator. Yet, you feel physically shattered. Your eyes are heavy, your patience is thin, and the idea of folding laundry feels like climbing a mountain. By all logical metrics, your energy tank should be overflowing, but biology tells a different story. While your muscles were idle, your brain was running a marathon at a sprint pace. You aren't tired because you did nothing, you were tired because you did too much of the wrong thing. We operate under a false assumption about human energy. We assume fatigue only comes from physical exertion, like lifting weights or running laps. But the brain is the most expensive piece of machinery you own. It makes up only 2% of your body mass, but devours 20% of your daily calories. Grandmasters in high-stakes chess tournaments can burn up to 6,000 calories in a single day without leaving their chairs. Their heart rates elevate and their blood pressure spike solely from cognitive load. You might not be playing grandmaster chess, but your modern environment mimics that intensity. Your brain does not distinguish between solving a complex math problem and processing a chaotic social media feed. Both activities require the rapid firing of neurons and the depletion of glucose. When you sit still but process high-density information, you are burning fuel at an athletic rate. The specific mechanic draining your battery is called context switching. Imagine your attention is a heavy spotlight in a dark theater. Moving that spotlight takes mechanical effort. When you focus on a movie, the spotlight is fixed. But then your phone buzzes. You have to physically heave that spotlight over to the text message, decode the meaning, and formulate a reply. Then you drag it back to the movie, but you've missed a line of dialogue. Now you have to recontextualize the scene. This is the switch cost. In a typical lazy afternoon, you might switch context hundreds of times. You switch from Instagram to TikTok to a news alert to a WhatsApp group and back to the TV. Each switch leaves a cognitive residue, a fragment of attention stuck on the previous task. Your brain is never fully present anywhere. It is constantly playing catch-up. This rapid-fire reorientation depletes oxygenated blood in the prefrontal cortex. You aren't relaxing, you are micro-sprinting for hours. Layered on top of switching is the sheer volume of micro-decisions. Willpower is a finite resource, acting like a battery bar in a video game. Every time you make a choice, you drain the bar. We usually think of decisions as big things, what car to buy or who to marry, but your brain treats small choices similarly. Scrolling a feed is a relentless stream of binary decisions. Do I watch this? No. Do I like this? Maybe. Do I read the comments? Yes. You make 5 decisions in 3 seconds. Over an hour of scrolling, you have made thousands of judgments. This creates a state known as decision fatigue. When the battery hits 0, your brain switches to a low power mode. You become irritable, impulsive, and unable to choose what to eat for dinner. You feel lazy, but you're actually suffering from executive function burnout. There's a chemical trap here that keeps you stuck in this exhausting cycle. We mistake dopamine for pleasure, but dopamine is actually about seeking. It is the molecule of more. When you engage with high-speed digital content, your brain releases dopamine to encourage you to find the next piece of information. It puts you in a state of high arousal and anticipation. Your heart rate elevates slightly and your pupils dilate. You are biologically hunting. But because you're sitting on a couch, there's no physical release for this arousal. You are revving the engine while the car is in neutral. This mismatch between mental agitation and physical stagnation creates a toxic byproduct, stress. Your body floods with cortisol because it thinks you're in a high-stakes environment. After 3 hours of this, you crash. You feel the exhaustion of a hunt without the satisfaction of a meal. Even when you put the phone away, you might still feel drained. This brings us to the default mode network, or DMN. The DMN is a set of brain regions that activates when you are not focused on the outside world. It is the network responsible for daydreaming, self-reflection, and worrying about the future. Here's the twist. The DMN is extremely energy hungry. When you sit in silence and let your mind wander, you aren't powering down. You are often ruminating. You replay an awkward conversation from 3 years ago or stress about a meeting on Monday. This unstructured thinking can be more exhausting than focused work. Focused work uses specific networks efficiently. Unstructured rumination fires up the DMN, burning energy on anxiety loops that have no resolution. So even staring at the ceiling can deplete you if your internal monologue is running wild. We also underestimate the energy cost of simply existing in a modern room. Your brain has a mechanism called sensory gating. It filters out irrelevant noise so you can focus. But look at your environment. The air conditioner is humming, the TV is on in the background, a street light is bleeding through the window, and your phone light is pulsing. Your brain can't just ignore these things. It has to actively suppress them. Suppression is an active neural process. It takes ATP, cellular energy, to keep that background noise from becoming conscious thought. If you spend your downtime in a cluttered, noisy, bright environment, your filter is working overtime. You are leaking energy just trying to maintain a baseline of calm. The solution requires redefining what rest actually is. We confuse passive consumption with active recovery. Watching a thriller series is passive consumption, but it's high stimulation. It keeps your brain in a beta wave state, alert and processing. True recovery requires alpha or theta waves. This only happens when inputs drop dramatically. This is why walking without headphones feels so different from walking with a podcast. When you remove the input, the brain stops decoding and starts organizing. It flushes out the metabolic waste products like adenosine that have built up during the day. If you never lower the input, the waste products remain. You wake up the next morning feeling like a fog has settled over your mind. If you want to stop feeling tired after doing nothing, you have to stop treating your brain like a garbage disposal for information. Recognize that processing a tweet costs energy. Choosing a movie costs energy. Ignoring a notification costs energy. Your energy is a budget, and you're spending it all on things that don't matter. Try a period of low input rest. Stare at a lull, fold laundry in silence, or walk around the block with your phone at home. It will feel boring and it will feel uncomfortable, but that boredom is the feeling of your battery finally charging. Give your brain permission to actually do nothing so you can finally feel like doing something.